Hi, it's Gary Tkach with CEO University. In the past few days, Comcast announced a major move. It's splitting into two separate public companies by spinning off NBC Universal and Sky, creating one media and entertainment company and one connectivity company focused on broadband and wireless. Investors liked the idea. Comcast's stock jumped, reflecting optimism that two more focused businesses will create more value than one big conglomerate. Today, I want to walk through what Comcast is actually doing, the leadership lesson behind this move, why it matters if you run a privately held company, and what you should do differently this week. Let's start with the story itself in simple terms. Comcast is currently a mix of two big businesses, a media and entertainment arm that includes NBC Universal, Universal Studios, and theme parks. The Peacock streaming service, networks like NBC and Telemundo, Bravo, and the European broadcaster Sky, a connectivity arm that provides broadband, cable, and wireless services to tens of millions of homes and businesses in the U.S. Management announced that within about a year, they plan to separate these into two independent, publicly traded companies through a tax-free spin-off. After the split, one company will be a pure-play telecom and broadband provider under the Comcast name. The other will be a pure-play media and entertainment company built around NBC, Universal, Sky, streaming, and theme parks. Investors bet that each business with its own leadership team and strategy can move faster and be valued more clearly on its own merits. Behind the scenes, this is also a reaction to intense pressure, streaming competition on the media side, and rapid technology shifts on the broadband side. In other words, Comcast is telling the market, we'll create more value by simplifying and focusing. Here's the leadership lesson in one line. When complexity starts hiding performance, your job as CEO is to simplify the structure so value becomes obvious again. Comcast simply acknowledged that they were already running two very different companies under one roof, each with its own economics and success metrics. They're giving up some theoretical synergies in exchange for gaining focus, transparency, and a structure that matches how the world actually works now. For you, the question is, where has my company quietly turned into two or three different businesses under one logo? And is that complexity now hiding issues, slowing decisions, or confusing your team about where the real value is? You might be thinking, that's Comcast, we're not a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. But the pattern shows up in private companies, just with smaller zeros. Over time, you bolt on new product lines or geographies. You keep legacy units alive because they're familiar, even if they're no longer core. On paper, it all sits under one P&L. In reality, you're running a portfolio of businesses with very different margin profiles and capital needs. What Comcast just made visible is what many private CEOs feel. The market is rewarding focus and punishing bloated, hard-to-value bundles. For you, the market isn't Wall Street. It's your bank, your prospective buyers, and your own energy and attention. Banks will discount messy companies. Structure is a choice, not a historical accident. Let's translate Comcast's move into concrete actions you can take in the next 7 days. 1. Do a two-company thought experiment. Sit down with a blank sheet of paper and ask, if I had to split us into two separate companies tomorrow, where would the line be? Maybe it's services versus product, B2B versus B2C, or legacy core versus new growth bets. You're not committing to a spinoff, you're surfacing reality. 2. Identify where complexity is hiding performance. Ask your finance lead for a simple segment view of your business, even if you don't report that way today. Look for a high-growth part of the business being held back by shared resources, and a low-growth unit that absorbs too much management attention. 3. Make one structural commitment even if it's small. Every company benefits from structural clarity. Consider a carve-out or a sunset move. The litmus test. Your leadership team should be able to explain in 1 or 2 sentences what business you're really in, and it should line up with your growth. 4. Align leadership and incentives. Do you have the right mini CEOs running each segment, or is everyone half in, half out of multiple businesses? 5. Communicate the why to your team. Tell them, over the next year, I want us to simplify and sharpen what we're great at so our structure matches our strategy. 6. Decide your one focus move for this week. Pick one commitment you will personally own, like greenlighting a standalone P&L for your fastest growing segment. At CEO University, these are exactly the kinds of conversations we're having inside our peer growth boards. You don't need to be Comcast sized to have a structure problem. Our boards bring together CEOs and owners of privately held companies wrestling with questions like, where is my structure killing value? And how do I simplify without destabilizing culture? If you want a confidential room where other CEOs will pressure test your assumptions before the market or your bank does, CEO University might be a fit. Visit www.ceou.org or message me with the word focus. Thanks for watching. I'm Gary Takach with CEO University. See you in the next session.